The role of the leaders of a company is to set the right environment for innovation and to have the right values, not to, the innovation I don't believe is coming top down. The ideas will come bottom up. The roles of the leaders will be to set the right environment for this to happen. I would say curiosity, to discover and learn new things, imagination, to find out creative solutions to complex problems, lateral thinking, think out of the box, and definitely determination, the passion, the intelligence, and the resilience to make it happen, to find out alternative ways when we're hitting a wall. So curiosity, imagination, and determination. Well, I'm a telecom engineer, specialized in space communications, and did my studies in Madrid, Toulouse, and Paris. And by the time my first job was about LEO satellites constellations, low Earth orbit. And at the time, that was a super innovation, And we were studying the risk of collision with space junk. At 1,000 kilometers orbit, you have this debris at 7 kilometers per second, which is quite a powerful bullet. Now LEOs are back. You know that this is one of the promising technologies, but this kind of risk still exists. So I remember this and the first year of my career with a lot of passion around space communications and all the innovation that was happening around that. Yeah. I will choose artificial intelligence because it's touching everyone, both at the personal and professional aspects. AI is a big change it's a paradigm shift. The way we were programming machines in the past, you were having some data and you were coding the rules, okay? And the program will produce some outcome. Now, the machines are learning in a different way. You have some training set based on inputs and outputs, and the machine will figure out the rules based on a specific algorithm. Some of them, like with deep neural networks, very complex with millions of parameters. Other based on machine learning, more simple, but the same principle applies. And this is how, you have computer vision today, autonomous cars are happening. You have applications of speech recognition, text generation, music generation, of course, recommending engines, a lot of application, augmented diagnosis for healthcare, and you will see of this more and more happening. But I would highlight two aspects of AI that for me are very interesting. First is the openness of the community. If you see, the research papers are shared, even the algorithms are shared. Even if you produce this algorithm in a corporation, you will publish in GitHub and it will be ready and open for everybody. Even you can do what it's called in AI transfer learning. You can use a previous trained algorithm to already train with tons of data, and to use this to perfect your own algorithm. So this openness of the community is really accelerating all the development around AI. And the second thing that is striking me is the speed between the research and the real application. If you see, for example, what we're doing here with our AI video cloud, or what is happening in countries like China, it's based on research that was published in 2016, 2018 even. So in few years, 3-4 years, it's already implemented. And this is happening especially in countries that are embracing AI as their main priority. I would say in AI, you have two superpowers, United States and China. UAE is another country that you see they are really embracing AI and putting AI as one of their priorities. It's not only about the technology, it's the way also to change our laws, change our regulation, and trying to adapt to the powerful tools that we will have in the coming years. So yeah, I would say this is the one. Okay, looking back, I would go a little bit, to the past. I would say in the 90s, we were having the internet and the big change, right? In the 2000s, the internet was going broadband and mobile. and not only connecting people, but all sorts of devices. But in the 2000, I would pick the smartphone as a big change, right? This, I like to call it the Swiss Army knife of the digital life, because we're able to do so many things. Then the last decade, what I would pick really is the social media, but the explosion of the social media. In the last decade is where the social media has really exploded. And these tons of data that every one of us is producing. And this is preparing precisely this amount of data is preparing the wave that I was talking about AI in the coming year. Because thanks to this data, the machines can be trained and the algorithms can perfect the rules so they can produce better outcomes. So yeah, internet, smartphones, social media and data and AI. This is a very, very interesting development. Well, here it's very easy because you need to look around. I mean, the UAE, the transformation of the UAE, the speed of transformation of this country, the way they embrace change, the way they are forward thinking, the way they try new things. Even if they fail, they continue. So the country itself, the leadership of this country, I think it's very inspiring. But also, sometimes we don't need to look very far. When I have to be inspired about innovation, I look at the young people, at my kids and the younger generation, even at the small children, the way they again, curiosity, imagination, and determination, they have the three of them. And they are not pre-trained with old models. Yeah, I believe at certain age you need to know that you are an algorithm trained with old data, right? So they come with this fresh approach, and I think we should look at them to get inspired and always move ahead and challenge ourselves. Yeah. Thanks. Well, the typical mistake of an organization that would like to be more innovative is to name a chief innovation officer or a chief digital officer, okay? One person is not able to change a company or to implement innovation. I think it starts with the values of a company and from the leadership of the company. The values of a company are related to, again, promote and embrace change. Among the values of the company, you see collaboration, agility, empowerment of people. That's a good sign. Then, once you have a set of values, of course, you need the people. As I said, it's not about one person. As important when hiring people is the technical skills, it is also the values of those people are in line with the values of the company. And then what we need is to bring the right environment for those people to thrive and for innovation to happen. And this has to do with the rules of the company, the workspace. And you have been recently visiting us, and we recently just completely changed our workspace to move to more an activity-based space, to pass the message that the most important thing that we have is our experts, not necessarily our management. So we kill the offices, we are having free sitting, we are sharing all the space together. So workspace, the governance of the company, the rules, and setting the right environment. And then innovation will happen. Innovation is not the role of the leaders of a company is to set the right environment for innovation and to have the right values, not to, the innovation, I don't believe, is coming top down. The ideas will come bottom up. The roles of the leaders will be to set the right environment for this to happen, right?
So Paco, now it's the moment of truth. Do you want to tell us a truth or a dare question?
Well, there is dare in truth and truth in dare, but since I'm not very gifted drawing and other things, I would say truth, just in case you have a funny idea about dare.
So can you tell us an embarrassing story that you live in your personal or professional life?
Well, I have a funny story here, by the way, in the Middle East, okay? So it was a little bit embarrassing, but it was funny also. It happens that my mate is having the same name that one account manager of an important person in Microsoft for Etisalat. And the name is Hadi. And the funny thing is I was texting my mate just to tell her to take some fish out of the freezer. And I sent this to the other person. And imagine the reaction, receiving from his client this request. So it was a funny moment. It happened to me again when I was outside of the country to remind her about the cats or something, and I received a message made again. So, it was funny. It was a little bit embarrassing, but I can tell you that it was definitely an icebreaker between this person and myself. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much, Paco, for all your answers and your authenticity in your answers.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
And you, what would you change in your organization to be more innovative? Share it in the comments of the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel.